Hello. Welcome to another journey around the world. What if I told you there are entire cities hidden beneath the ocean? And some of them hold secrets no one was ever meant to uncover. Get ready. What you're about to see might change everything you believe about humanity's past. Think of a place where chaos was order, where the sea whispered secrets of stolen gold, and where the night never slept, because the pirates wouldn't let it. This was Port Royal, the cursed jewel of the Caribbean. In the 17th century, it was more than just a port. It was the beating heart of global piracy. Known as the wickedest city on earth, its alleys overflowed with rum, blasphemy, and Spanish gold coins. But beneath all that libertine glitter was a fragile balance between fortune and ruin, and the ocean, as always, watched silently. The names that echoed through its streets sounded like something straight out of a storybook: Henry Morgan, Blackbeard, Calico Jack. Feared men who turned the city into an informal battlefield where money spoke louder than any law. Port Royal had 4 times more taverns than churches, and believe it or not, a brothel on every corner. It was where politically incorrect wasn't just tolerated, it was currency. But it was also strategic, perfectly positioned to plunder Spanish ships and keep the black market booming. A city where anything was possible, even the impossible. And that's exactly what happened on the morning of June 7th, 1692. The earth shook violently, as if hell itself had risen to collect its debt. A massive earthquake liquefied the ground beneath the city, swallowing buildings, streets, even people. Moments later, a colossal tsunami swept through what was left, dragging ships into the heart of the city, and then sucking everything back out to sea. Within minutes, 2/3 of Port Royal had vanished underwater. Hundreds drowned, were buried alive, or fell into chasms that opened beneath their feet. And the most surreal part? A pocket watch was found years later, frozen at 11:43 a.m., the exact moment the world stopped for that city. Today, Port Royal is known as the Pompeii of the Caribbean, not just for the sudden tragedy, but for how eerily well its remains have been preserved. Underwater archaeologists have found true time capsules there. Intact ceramics, sealed rum bottles, gold coins scattered as if dropped in panic. Even cannons still sit in place, now pointing at nothing, buried beneath the sea. You can't help but feel chills swimming through the ruins of a city that lived wildly and died just as fiercely. It's as if the walls still whisper tales of betrayal, games, and secret pacts. But Port Royal isn't just about destruction. It also marks the beginning of a deeper idea, that the sea doesn't just erase memories, it preserves them. When we talk about sunken cities, Port Royal stands out as a reminder that tides don't just wash stories away, sometimes they guard them. Now close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself floating above a shallow, crystal clear sea in southern Greece. The sun is shining overhead, and the water is so clear you can see straight to the bottom. But then, you realize, you're not looking at coral or fish, you're looking at an entire city, Pavlo-Petri. Yes, a real city, with straight roads, houses with living rooms and bedrooms, public squares, inner courtyards, tombs, and even a rudimentary sewage system. All of it resting for more than 5,000 years beneath the Aegean Sea. This city once belonged to the Mycenaean civilization, the same one sung about in Homer's epic tales, which thrived between 1600 and 1100 BC. But here's the most astonishing part. Studies suggest that Pavlo-Petri may have existed even earlier, more than 3,000 years before Christ. That makes it older than the pyramids of Egypt, older than Stonehenge, and even older than the invention of the alphabet itself. And unlike many lost cities, Pavlopetri was discovered almost entirely intact. Sounds like fiction, but it's not. The city was meticulously mapped through underwater archaeology. What's most impressive isn't just that it's down there, it's the organization. The urban layout shows a level of planning that many modern neighborhoods lack. Parallel streets, aligned homes, well-defined public areas. It's as if an entire civilization had been frozen in time. So what happened? Earthquakes and the slow rise of sea levels gradually buried the city beneath the waves until it vanished from sight, but not from history. It remained hidden for thousands of years until 1967, when a British archaeologist named Nicholas Fleming was exploring the region and noticed something strange on the seafloor. Geometric shapes, sharp angles. He knew this wasn't natural, and he was right. In the years that followed, Pavlopetri became one of the greatest discoveries in modern underwater exploration. A submerged city, thousands of years old, untouched, accessible, and incredibly revealing. Walking through Pavlopetri is like visiting a distant relative you never met, but who still lives in you. It's a reminder that humans have always longed for connection, order, beauty, and belonging, whether 5,000 years ago or today. That's what makes this city so fascinating. It proves that modernity didn't start with us. And if the oldest known city lies beneath the sea, what else might still be hiding beneath the waves? Now get ready, because our next stop takes us to the heart of ancient Egypt, where an entire city mysteriously disappeared for over 1,000 years. And hold on, because there's so much more. If this already blew your mind, just wait until you see what's coming next. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next mysteries hiding beneath the surface. Imagine living in a city that simply vanishes. No war, no warning, no survivors. That's exactly what happened to Atlit Yam, a city built over 9,000 years ago, now lying beneath the coast of Israel. But what's truly astonishing isn't just the age or the depth, it's the mystery. This city has megalithic structures, stone houses, and even a stone circle often compared to an underwater Stonehenge. Only unlike the original, this one was never meant to be seen. The strangest part? During excavations, archaeologists uncovered human skeletons with signs of an unknown plague. And even more chilling, bodies buried in ritualistic fashion, with symbolic objects placed in their hands. Why would a people so ancient bury their dead with rituals? What exactly were they running from? And here's the twist no one saw coming. Atlit Yam was one of the first known cities in human history to have planned freshwater systems, complete with wells and drainage. That means even before civilizations like Egypt or Mesopotamia, this city was already sophisticated. So what could have brought down such an advanced society? And why have we never heard about it in history books? Some scientists believe it was destroyed by a mega tsunami, triggered by a geological collapse in the Mediterranean, the same kind of event that may have wiped out other coastal cities of that era. But was it really just a force of nature? Imagine sailing toward the Nile Delta over 2,000 years ago, only to be met by a monumental city rising at the edge of the sea, towering columns, temples dedicated to gods like Horus and Isis, bustling markets, grand palaces, and priests carefully watching every ship that arrived. This was Heraklion, also known as Thonis, one of the greatest commercial and religious centers of ancient Egypt. It was here that seaborne access to the most powerful civilization of the time was controlled. To the Greeks, it was the sacred gateway to Egypt. To the Egyptians, a place of worship and glory. For 1,000 years, Heraklion thrived as one of the Mediterranean's most vital hubs. Customs taxes were collected there. Gods were honored. And it's believed that Cleopatra herself was crowned within its temples. The city was a showcase of Egyptian magnificence. But in the 8th century AD, it all began to vanish, slowly, as if nature itself were erasing it. The region's soft, unstable clay soil, combined with rising sea levels and a series of natural disasters, gradually pulled the city beneath the waves, until it disappeared completely from the map. And then, silence. For over 200 years, Heraklion became a legend. Many believed it had never existed at all, just another lost city mentioned in old texts. But in the year 2000, everything changed. French archaeologist Frank Godiot made a groundbreaking discovery after years of research. The Sunken city, found 10 meters underwater near the modern city of Alexandria. What he uncovered is nothing short of astonishing. 64 shipwrecks, 700 anchors, gold coins, colossal statues over 5 meters tall, stones inscribed with ancient hieroglyphs, and even the remains of sacred temples. These findings were hailed as one of the greatest underwater archaeological discoveries of modern times. It was as if the sea had carefully preserved an entire forgotten chapter of Egyptian history. Red granite statues, gods with eternal expressions, rings, tools, and everyday objects, so well preserved they looked freshly carved. Heraklion wasn't a myth, it was real, and it had been waiting patiently, hidden beneath the waves, for someone to hear its submerged call. As if the sea itself was whispering, there are still truths you need to see. To explore Heraklion virtually today, through diver footage and 3D scans, is to take a near-spiritual journey into the past. The murky waters of the Mediterranean seem to whisper what the ancient papyri never dared to say. Sunken cities like this one remind us, not everything lost is gone forever. Sometimes it's just waiting for us to finally look. And if you thought you'd seen it all, get ready. Our next destination lies between the sacred and the unexplained. A massive underwater pyramid in Japan that continues to defy science to this day. Imagine diving deep into the ocean and suddenly coming face to face with a colossal staircase. Not a natural ruin, not a random rock formation, but something that looks deliberately carved, as if someone or some civilization had left behind a submerged temple hidden from future generations. You're in the waters off Yonaguni, an island in Japan's Ryukyu archipelago. This is where one of modern underwater archaeology's greatest enigmas lies, the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered by accident in 1986 when a local diver named Kihachiro Aratake was searching for a new spot to observe hammerhead sharks, he never imagined he would stumble upon a structure over 25 meters tall, complete with staircases, terraces, sharp angles, pillars, and even what appears to be a plaza. The structure defies logic. That's because traditional geologists insist it's entirely natural, the product of millions of years of tectonic erosion, which is common in the region. But supporters of the archaeological hypothesis, including Professor Masaki Kimura of the University of the Ryukyus, argue passionately. This was made by human hands, and not just any humans, but a civilization that existed long before recorded history. According to Kimura, There are even engravings and symbolic markings etched into the stone. He believes the monument could be as old as 10,000 years, predating the Egyptian pyramids and the Sumerian civilization by millennia. If that's true, we may be talking about an advanced society with architectural and symbolic knowledge long before the rise of any known cities. And that leads us to the inevitable question: why doesn't the world know about this? The answer might lie in the implications. To accept Yonaguni as a man-made structure would mean rewriting human history as we know it. It would mean acknowledging that maybe we weren't the first, and that many of the myths we dismiss, like Atlantis, might hold roots in reality. The atmosphere at Yonaguni is surreal. Divers often report the eerie sensation of being watched. Powerful currents make navigation difficult, almost as if the sea itself is trying to guard this secret. And in the silent blue of the deep, you begin to sense some places in this world don't want to be found. Places that speak in whispers, waiting for the right explorer to listen. There are no signs, no tourist temples, just stone. Stone that may hold an entire history we were never told. Now tell me this, after all that, how can you ever look at the ocean the same way again? Each submerged city we explored isn't just ruins, they're silent warnings, forgotten memories, secrets humanity chose to bury beneath the waves. But are you going to ignore them? And more, how many other cities like these are still hidden in the depths, just waiting to be rediscovered? Could the same mistakes we're making today drag us down like them? And what if what lies beneath the ocean holds the key to understanding our future? These aren't easy questions, but if you've made it this far, it means your curiosity goes way beyond the surface. So, don't stop now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the next videos will take you even deeper into the ocean and into your own mind. If you're into stories that blur the line between reality and mystery, that mix science, secrets, and the human spirit, you're in the right place. In the comments, tell me, which of these underwater cities shook you the most? Until our next journey,